you saw the original Imperium Twitter account, there was like not a lot of spicy takes on there. I mean, there was some spicy takes, you know, within the realm of like classics and literature and everything, but there wasn't like, I mean, I wasn't like going around and yelling at people to name them and blah, 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 blah. Nothing like that, right? Very kosher sort of stuff. But yet I was still facing a lot of heat. A lot of usual suspects were coming out and trying to dox me, trying to make my life hard, trying to you know, dob me into like the Twitter mods and things like that, trying to like catch me up and you know, basically get my account banned, which they eventually did. And this just kept going and going and going and going. And you can imagine who, like, you know, who I'm talking about and which, you know, peoples that we're talking about here. It kept going and going and going. And all I was trying to do, all that I had been doing from the very beginning, was trying to republish the fucking Iliad in a 19th century translation and to have it be understood in a way that is native to the worldview from which it's written. That's all I'm trying to do, and that's too much to ask. This is beyond the pale. This is, you're just not allowed to do this anymore. And for someone who was, I mean, before that, I mean, I certainly had a journey, a political journey through libertarianism into neo-reaction and everything like that. I mean, I wasn't a normie per se, but I was much closer to that before having my eyes opened at what kind of pressure and what kind of pushback there is for just trying to do something small, for just being a classics publisher that just isn't woke and gay. Who radicalized me? They did. The people who said, no, you can't do that. So anyway, this is the sort of story of what happened over the course of like about a year and a half after starting Imperium. And yeah, that's it. It was quite bad in Australia when things were getting better elsewhere, and it seemed like that there was no light at the end of the tunnel, and it has caused problems for a lot of my friends and even my family. So I am a man on a mission now. If they wanted to stop me, if they wanted to, you know, basically bully me into silence, they have done just the opposite. So that was the effect, basically, of COVID on me.
Yeah. And I would like to point out that, dude, I have like all Imperium Press's books. There's very little here that is like legitimately, overtly, explicitly spicy. And there's a couple that are a little spicy, but it's intellectual stuff. The fact that they went after Mike like that was like, you could tell that scares them far more than what we would consider to be explicitly edgy stuff. There's explicitly edgy accounts on Twitter that have, you know, tens of thousands, many thousands of followers and say outwardly explicit things. Mike gets on there and wants to do a modern translation of the Iliad, and that scares the shit out of them, right? So just keep in mind, like, the stuff that is actually intellectually gets under their roots and actually explains why they are wrong in reasonable intellectual ways, coming from the voices of great men in history, that scares them more than this other stuff. And I'm not saying like that other stuff can't be useful. I'm not knocking anybody. But what I'm saying is the intellectual shit and the art shit are like, they fear it. It's like sun on a vampire. You know what I mean?
You're listening to an episode of the latest Culture Dads, Age of Sword and Cassette. If you like what you hear and want more, head on over to culturedads.com for podcasts every week.
Yeah, the thing that one of the things that they want the least, one of the things that they are most afraid of is that what they call the alt-right will come into conjunction with all the greatest minds that have ever lived. But this is the thing, as the successor to that movement, our worldview is the worldview of all of the great men in history, all of the most impressive minds that have ever lived. They agree with us on every fundamental point, and they disagree with them on every fundamental point. So pointing that out is very, very problematic. And, I'm not trying to dunk on anybody who has, successfully got back on Twitter. I'm very, very happy to see so many of our guys, even the spicy ones, getting back on there. But who hasn't got back on there is Imperium Press. So maybe that tells you something.
Yeah. And I would say that, like, I don't even know if I don't really consider myself like a radical or anything. Like I don't even know if I'm, we use right wing, but as we talked about before, that's left right wing is sort of like very low resolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our arguments for these things, I see myself as just like a regular guy. Like if I went back 30 years, nobody would even bat an eye at me. You know what I mean? I'm just a regular dude. I'm just a dad. I'm a religious guy. I think that, the ordering forces of the universe are good. I think that law and order is good. I think that having family, I'm a natalist. I think those things are good. I think that loving who you are and where you come from is good. And like regionalism is beautiful. And like, these are just things I think that beauty and order and these things are just good. I've never done anything like outside of a few like bar tussles or whatever. I've never been like done anything really overtly violent. I spent a night in a drunk tank one time because I got into a drunk bar fight and I got a couple speeding tickets. Outside of that, I've never been charged. I don't do illegal things. I am one of the most if you guys meet me, and some of you will and some of you have, I am such a regular dude. I like cool guitar music. I like what I like, and I dislike weird, gross stuff. And that's it. But according to them,
that's a bridge too far.
That's a bridge too far. Yeah, I'm a sensible centrist. I am. I really am.
You know what? There's something to that meme. I know a lot of our guys don't like it, but the fact is that we occupy the null hypothesis. Historically, we are the default position. It is them that needs to justify themselves to us. At least, intellectually they do. In terms of power, it's the other way around. But by all accounts, by all reasonable accounts, it is us that has the default position. So this is, they fear that. They're absolutely terrified of a normal person like me, or at least who I was before they pissed me off. Like Dave, like any of our guys, like any of the people in our sphere that have a platform or anything like that, we are normal, well-adjusted people who, as like Dave says, we just want to raise our families. We believe that that our deities are good, and we believe that gross shit needs to be stamped down, and that's it. Like it should not be a controversial position, but unfortunately, that is it's moving us towards some historical epochs that are unnameable. So yeah,
and one thing I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mike.
No, that's okay.
I was going to say one thing that I like to do when I talk to one of these kooky libtoads is I ask them where they got radicalized. I'm like, how did you get radicalized? And they'll be, well, I'm like, whenever they said like that, I don't know. That's kind of an extreme position. I'm just kind of like a regular traditional guy. I don't get into that crazy stuff. They're like, it completely fries them because they come to the table with this presupposition that they are the standard, and society agrees with them, and history agrees with them, and they're on the right side of history, and what they're talking about. So when they get presented with this idea that they are indeed the radical and they are indeed like crazy people, they don't know how to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's one thing I like to do.
You're listening to an episode of the latest Culture Dads, Age of Sword and Cassette, where two fathers and community leaders discuss modern culture from a timeless perspective. If you like what you hear and you want more, head on over to culturedads.com for podcasts every week.